Well, howdy YouTube, Unky Joe here, Unky Joe's Playhouse. Willie Howe, silly hat and all. Yes, I'm going to be wearing this hat through the month of August, so get used to it. Today I got a very special video. I had a subscriber contact me. I'm going to use his subscriber name, and it's NC, Nancy Charlie Medic. And he contacted me via Gmail, unkyjoesplayhouse@gmail.com, by the way, if you need to know that email address, and said, I have a spare Dell R710 server laying around. Would you like it? And I said, well, of course I would like it. I love Dell R710s. This is where they come to die. As everybody knows, I'm a big fan of Dell servers. And he said, well, it's just a bare bones server. It's just got the CPUs and the case and the power supplies. And he said, I'd like to ship it to you. I'd like to donate it to you. And I said, sure. I was even willing to pay for the shipping, but he would not allow it. So that's what's behind me right now. It's on the rack. We have to get some RAM and hard drives for it. This unit fortunately takes 2.5-inch hard drives instead of the other Dell, which takes 3.5-inch hard drives. So I've had to order all new trays and RAM for it, but that's no big deal. It's going to be worth it, and the plan is to install Windows Server 2016 on it. So, but let me show you around that server and show you some of the features of it. It arrived here promptly via FedEx yesterday and in good condition. It is a Dell R710. It has a couple of Xeon processors in it. I think they're the X5670 processors. So those are really good processors. They run at 2.9. I think they'll throttle up to 3.3 gigahertz. Now this unit is bare bones. It has the processors, it has the motherboard. It comes, of course, with a CD-ROM drive here. It has a spot for 6 2.5-inch, or I'm sorry, 8 2.5-inch SSD drives. I have ordered some 2.5-inch Dell 146 gig SSD SAS drives to populate this with, and then I've ordered some drive trays for the other drives. So it's very similar to my other Dell R710, with the exception of the fact that this is uses 2.5-inch disk drives. So if we swing around here to the back, the other thing it also includes is an enterprise level iDRAC controller, which is right here. It has, of course, 4 1 gigabit NIC cards in it. He even left the little handle on the back. This slot, we're going to put our 10 gig networking card in here. It has dual redundant power supplies, as you can see. I'm assuming they both work. If not, I can get other power supplies, but there's the look at the back of the unit. Let's open her up and take a look inside. Now, I have that IBM X3650 M3 in my rack, and that will be staying. I have ordered RAM. This unit has no RAM in it, nor hard drives. I've ordered RAM and hard drives for this, so I can go ahead and get it set up. And as you know, with my install fiasco on my other Dell in the rack I made too long. I need to shorten the rack. It's going to be a project in itself, but we'll get another rack rails and we'll make sure we can rack mount this Dell. So let's get the cover off. And of course, it's like any other Dell, they have all the instructions here on the lid of the server. If you can see that, it tells you how to add RAM, what slots they should go into, etc. I'll put this over here for now. So this unit has the additional SD card slot on it. Right here is a spot for a USB key, so if you're running ESXi or you're running XCP or some other operating system that can load off that USB key, you could install it there, or you could, again, this one has the SD card adapter in it. It also has a optical DVD-ROM, I believe it is. CD DVD, yes, it's a DVD recorder as well. Yeah, and a DVD rewritable. So it's not only the CD rewritable, it's a DVD. Further back here is the back plane for the hard drive. I don't know if I could populate this with another hard drive bay, but I really don't use these to store hard drives so much as I use them to do computational tasks and that kind of thing. In fact, what I may end up doing is making one of these a render farm for videos. We'll see. Over here, let me move the camera down a little bit and you can see the fans in the unit. They are hot swappable. Anything with orange is hot swappable. The machine's a little dirty, but we're gonna, as part of our maintenance on this, we'll clean it out. Now the beauty of this unit is it already has a H700 processor, or SAS card in it, serial ATA SAS card. So that's one less thing I'm going to have to replace. But let's take a look-see. Let's take the cover off for the CPUs and the memory. And as you can see, the memory is currently unpopulated. I have ordered 48 gig of RAM for this server. We are going to be taking the CPU heat sinks off, and we'll be putting new thermal compound under on these processors when we give it a good cleaning. And you can see we got our RAM slots here and RAM slots here on either side of the processor. Let me close in, see if we can get a better shot of that H700N controller, which is right here. So that's not a PERC 6i, it's an actual H700. So this will support the larger capacity drives and whatnot. And then if you come around here, see if I can get this in the shot. This is the iDRAC Enterprise controller in here. So I have all the features of the Enterprise controller. Everything is hooked up the way it should be. Like I say, it's a little dusty, not bad. And NC Medic, I cannot thank you enough for this donation. I have been contemplating buying another Dell R710. The IBM X3650 is a fine server, but I find it puts out a whole lot more heat than my Dells do. I can turn that server on. My server room will be at 80 degrees, and in a matter of an hour, the temperature will jump to 84. That IBM does put out a lot of heat. So I'm hoping that the Dell will be one of those that I can run more often and it won't generate so much heat. So now there's not much we can do with this unit until we get RAM and hard drives in it. I can't boot it up without RAM. I do have some RAM I could put in it, but I would have to take it out of the IBM server, and right now I don't want to mess with that IBM server. It's got tasks it's doing. So the RAM should be here at some point middle to end of next week, and I will then put the RAM in, boot it up, and then we're going to take you on the ride with us to upgrade the firmware on this and anything else that needs to be updated. So it's going to be a project for a good video. Yeah, I just want to, again, I want to shout out to NC Medic and thank him or her for the lovely donation of this Dell R710. So there you go. There's the server, what it looks like inside. Now, what I'm going to try to do on this server is I'm going to take you through step by step on it. I've had a lot of requests for this in the past, and it's been a while since I did a Dell R710 server video. So I'm going to show you the steps I take getting this set up and getting it ready to run Server 2016 Hyper-V. And that'll include installing the hard drives, going in and configuring the hard drives with the SAS controller, doing the BIOS and firmware updates if this thing requires them, how we install the memory, how we configure the memory for the best speed, and so forth. So we'll do a whole more series of videos around that R710. They're very popular And it'll be like a refresher course for everybody on how to get, if you get one of these servers, what you need to do to get them set up to run a modern day operating system. Now the other thing I want to do is I want to thank all of those subscribers out there that have contributed monetary donations to the channel, either via PayPal or Patreon. As you can see, NC Medic just made a gracious donation to us. He didn't have to. That was very nice of him. But with y'all's support and donations, I was able to pick up one of these cameras, the HF R800 Vixia from Canon. And let me tell you, I love this camera. It's very easy to use, very lightweight. It was inexpensive. It was right around $225, I think, is what I paid for it. But it is a tiny little camera. As you can see, it comes with a huge battery on there. It gives you 2 hours of battery life. You know, it has a lens cover. It has the it's a standard, I think, 35 millimeter in the front here, so you can put filters on it. I would imagine you could put different lenses on it. So it's got a lens cover here. It'll support 1080p at 60 frames per second. I only film at 30, but maybe I'll start filming at 60. But as you can see, it's very light, held in the hand, very easy to use. It's got a flip out screen. It auto powers on. See if you can see the screen on there. It tells me I don't have a memory card, but right here it's got an on-off button. Then it has a menu button or a play button here. It has a jack for a regular standard microphone, and then for an AV cable it also has an HDMI out and a USB connection, and I believe this one is wireless as well. So you can transfer your files wirelessly if you're so inclined, but I prefer right there as an SD card slot, so that's what I use to do my my videos. It's very easy to use, very simple handheld camcorder. Now, you know, I was donated that Canon DSLR back when I first started my channel. I love that camera as well, but the autofocus on it is not so great. It doesn't keep up with, you know, fast movement of scenes. So this Canon just makes it easier for me to shoot things on a tripod and whatnot. And the DSLR I keep around for still shots, or if I need to do macro, you know, macro filming or whatever. So again, thanks so much for your gracious donations over the past few months. We were able to pull the trigger and get one of those Canon Vixia cameras, and I love it so far. I'll probably do a review video on it. You know, it's a basic camera. It's a basic camcorder. But I've waited long enough. It was between that and a Panasonic, but I've had such good luck with Canon, that's why I went with it. So there you go, YouTube. We hope you found the video entertaining and informative as always. And like I said, look for more videos coming up on that Dell as we start getting it configured and get it running. The unit that's on top of that Dell right now is also it's a terminal from a client. We're experimenting with Linux, putting Linux on dumb terminals for another project we're working on. So we'll do some videos on that as well. But I just want to personally thank everybody again for your donations and your gracious support, and to NC Medic for sending us that server. We're going to put it to good use. So thanks again for watching. Donate if you're so inclined. We take PayPal and Patreon. Give us a thumbs up down below. Subscribe. Hit that notification bell. Keep in mind we're also going to be cross-posting these YouTube videos over to BitChute as well. And I will be putting the Exponology videos I will be putting back up on BitChute. So go over and check out BitChute. I think you'll find them a nice alternative to YouTube. Pretty easy to use. So, and donate to them if you're so inclined. They're trying to get they have a goal over there. I'd like to see them stay around. So thanks again for watching, and please don't forget that we will see you on the other side.